In my last video, I was at the cabin just shooting the breeze.
There's a blackout in most of New Brunswick right now because of that. There's been so many trees falling all around the cabin that the chances of another one falling right on the cabin and crashing through the roof are high. It's one hell of a storm. I got a feeling in the morning I'm going to find out all the things I've lost. Oh no. I mean, there's not just one tree down. There's many. I really love that tree. It was a beautiful tree. It doesn't look like I'm going to get out traveling anytime soon. This is going to take a long time to clean up. It's okay. I still have a cabin, and that's what counts.
Now that the storm had passed, the cleanup could begin. It was a little slow at first, but eventually I started to make headway. And a good neighbor's chainsaw was a huge help. But then another neighbor arrived to see what all the fuss was about. It was my good friend Prudence, who was just checking to see that I was okay. It was a very unusual storm, as no trees came down by the waterfront, only the ones at higher elevations were affected. It first brought warm tropical air, which melted the frozen ground, and then packed the punch to topple those trees that had been standing for decades. But with a little good fortune, all landed away from the cabin.
Right now, I'm just trying to clear out enough of this debris so I can use the driveway again. I can get in and out easier. Where to put this all? I haven't figured that out yet. Now, one thing that really surprised me was not just the number of trees that fell down, but the species. I was actually under the impression that cedar were rather strong and anchored well. However, I was wrong, because if you look here, the only thing holding it to the ground is just a few inches. It wasn't anchored well at all. Now I know.
Many, however, were very pleased with the storm's outcome, as it brought down lichens and mosses from the forest canopy, something deer love to eat. And here's Prudence and Eloise merrily snacking on cedar boughs, a treat that's usually out of reach. and even Scruffy Butt joined in on the feast. Well, it is now day 5 of the second blackout, and I have been living at the cabin for 5 days and 5 nights. This is the 5th night I've been here. Rumor has it that power is going to be on soon, so I can probably leave in the morning. What have I learned through all this? Well, as much as I like to have thought I was really prepared, of course I wasn't. There's always something missing.
Unfortunately, I did lose a lot of the trees, and I thought they were healthy, but I guess I was wrong. These were the weak ones, and when the winds came up, they are the ones to go. Now, as far as Squirrel, Squirrel doesn't like it, the fact that some of his trees are gone too, so he's cursing and swearing in the background here.
One thing I really miss is a shower. I haven't had a shower for 5 days, and the way the cabin is right now, it'd be a little difficult to have a shower because I haven't finished it. So, come spring, that's going to be a priority. And I also found I had very limited food when the power first went down, and because I was blocked in, I couldn't even get the truck out to get more supplies. I had to, work with what I had, and I'm still sort of, I've got this goo. Leftovers of leftovers is what I'm having tonight.
The reason that I picked this location and this cabin was the trees. I wanted a cabin in the forest. Am I going to remove the trees to make sure the cabin's protected? Well, Mother Nature did it for me. I'm going to make the assumption the rest are still healthy, strong, and they should last a long time. However, any I replant, I know they're not going to be cedar like this one or fir. They're probably going to be something like maple or birch, because birch did really well during this storm.
The key thing I wish I had in something like this was a chainsaw. One that did not rely on electricity whatsoever. Because when the power goes out, even a lithium chainsaw, you can't charge it up again. Unfortunately, you do sometimes have to rely on old technology, which is a gas-powered chainsaw. And it's totally something I wish I had.
The issues with the blackout are pretty simple. We rely too much on electricity. And although in a blackout you can get by with a generator, most generators cannot generate enough power to run things like a water heater, the refrigerator, the stove, the air conditioner, and all the other things you need at the same time. You've got to compromise and only pick a few appliances if you want to use a generator and still have electricity during a blackout.
Fortunately, my cabin uses solar power, so wasn't directly affected by the blackout. But storms do bring clouds, which would affect my ability to generate power. I certainly am better at the stove, getting the stove going, which meant I was able to generate heat, and heat can be extremely important in an emergency. So in preparation,
make sure you have an alternate source, not just electricity, and also make sure you have a full tank of gas, because the gas stations, when the blackout came, were all closed.
I did keep warm, I did have water, there are things I did do, but there's always room for improvement. And now I know if I have to live in the cabin in the winter, it's at least doable.
In the spring, I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup, but for now, I still want to go traveling, so it's time to work on the truck. Maybe the camper as well. As much as I really like this truck, there has been one challenge for me ever since I first got it, and that's just getting into the driver's seat. Because it's a little high. The seat is right here, and for me to get in with my short little legs, I gotta step up like that, grab the steering wheel, and in I go. Now most of the time that's okay, but what I'm concerned with is if it gets slippery when it's raining, and there's times where, you know, my legs get a little sore. I wish there was a way I could solve this problem. And of course, there's always a solution, and here's the one I chose. It's running boards. I picked these up from Aries Automotive. It was through Amazon. Seemed like a reasonable price. And there's one. And two. Tubular style. And it has all the hardware, brackets to put them on, and all the nuts and bolts and clips, and of course the instructions. Seems simple enough, but let's look underneath the truck. Well, it's a little cramped underneath here, especially because I don't have it jacked up, but let me show you where the brackets need to go. Underneath are a series, and let me just make sure. Okay, right here, there's some rubber plugs, and if you grab it on the edge or if you use a screwdriver, comes right off and exposes a big hole, and there's also a little hole there. The kit comes with some clips, and the clips go in like that and go over that little hole. And underneath here, there's also a hole which you need to attach the second clip to. And after that, it's just a matter of attaching the bracket. Once the 3 brackets are in place, you can attach the running board. 6 metric bolts secure it to the brackets. Well, there it is. Passenger side was pretty easy, took me about half an hour. Now let's do the driver's side. Well, the first one went in pretty easy, but the second one is supposed to have a rubber plug and a hole, and there's nothing. Guess I've got to do my own. I first used a Dremel to make a slot. Then I widened the slot with a flat-headed screwdriver. I drilled a hole for the bolt, added the clip, and added the bracket. 2 of the brackets in the kit were meant to be clamped on, therefore did not require a lower mounting hole. The location of the 3rd bracket had another problem. The rocker panel had rusted out where the hole was supposed to be. It seemed the whole section was too weak to support the running board. I picked up an angle bracket to solve the problem. After drilling 2 holes, I bolted the angle bracket from above to act as a secure anchor for the upper part of the running board bracket. I also used a flat mending bracket secured with machine screws to the bottom for a second anchor point. This seemed to work well. Later, I did some body work to repair the damaged panel and covered it with rocker guard coating. And by the way, that broken parking brake cable from the Silverado video,
Well, I had that fixed too.
Well, I've got the running boards on. Do they make a difference? Oh yeah, so easy now. Now I can finally go get my camper. Now I had the camper stored away from the cabin. I thought it was safer. But surprisingly enough, camper had its own story as well.
My trailer had two problems. First, a pine tree almost crushed it but fell a few feet away. That tree took out a power pole, which left a power line within inches of the camper. Fortunately, it did not turn my trailer into a mound of melted goo. Of course, this meant I could not go near my camper until a line crew had removed the tree, replaced the pole, and restored the power line. Another delay in my travel plans. But it's back now.
Now, as far as the camper goes, there's really not a lot that needs to be done. When I took it out of storage, I warmed it up, I charged the battery, and I got this little dehumidifier going because it was really smelling a little musty. And there is a little bit of moisture in there, so it is working. Other than that, all my bedding, my sleeping bags are in the cabin. I've got to load it up with a few supplies, and that's it, because right now, the cupboard's bare. Well, I think I'm going to have one last fire of the year, because tonight's a special night. Because it is New Year's Eve. Why not spend New Year's Eve in front of a warm fire? Now I've got my Amazon log. Easy to make an Amazon log. You get an Amazon box and you fill it with all your paper junk. You know, all the stuff you get in packing, your receipts, your warranties, of course, because they're kind of useless. And any other things you can cram in that box that'll burn. That's my Amazon log. And there's a little bit of a chill in the air tonight. It's around freezing. So definitely would appreciate a bit of a warm fire. Well, the fire is now nice and toasty. Can relax, just soak it in. Well, another year is come and gone. They really go quick, don't they? Was it a good year? Was it a bad year? I don't know. I'm just glad that I was here to celebrate it. Another year and I'm still alive. And some like to reflect on the year that is just passing by and some of the people that they've lost, perhaps. I like to reflect on the future, you know, sort of think of, well, what can I improve? Who are the new people I'm going to meet? Which is kind of ironic because here it is, New Year's Eve, and I'm by myself in front of the fire. So maybe the New Year's resolution I need to have is to be a little bit more social. But hey, it's what you make of it. I'm fine, I'm happy, and I'm warm. But there's something I need, and I got one right here. Look at this. It is, look, it's even got a bow on it. It is a Moosehead small batch spiced fruitcake Belgian quadruple.
quadruple the fun, I guess. Hopefully it's not I don't end up, no, you know what? I better not go there. Let's start off the end of the year in a good note, and hopefully with a good beer. However, I bet it's not a twist off, is it? Nope, they never are. Gotta use the axe. Hopefully I can do this. There we go. You thought I was gonna go like that, didn't you? No, I'm not that crazy. Not for this one. Okay, but I do have a glass. Let's see what it's like. Oh, look at that golden color. And amber like the fire. Smells good. Okay, here's the taste test. That's not bad. And I don't even like fruitcake, but I think it packs a powerful punch, but it is nice. I got a feeling I'm not going to drink the whole thing, not all at once anyway. I'm just going to sip it. So, to everybody, Happy New Year. All the best to you. And hopefully you can share a beer. Okay, maybe my New Year's resolution is I'm going to just sort of relax on the really strong beers and just have some mild and mellow ones. And hopefully with friends, perhaps friends I meet on the road as I'm just ready to travel again. I hope you have a good year, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my others as well. Cheers. Oh, that goes down well. Yeah, but that punch. Woo! Yeah. I wonder if I can clean my carburetor with this stuff. Bet I could start a fire. Ooh.